I'm wondering like a handful of things, but I have some questions for you, Chris.
Okay.
Um, it's a two. They're all food related.
Okay.
Okay, and um, what the first part of the question is, if you could wave a magic wand and get rid of 5 fast food restaurants, which ones would you get rid of?
Wow.
Ready? Oh, come on, man. All right, ready? Go.
5 fast food
5.
restaurants
You
that
could
I
just
would
yeah,
get
you just
rid
get rid
of.
of them. Yep.
Boy, that's a tough one. A&W,
Okay. Yeah.
only because I haven't been there since the dawn of time.
Uh-huh.
Um, Man, I might say Taco Bell at this point.
Okay. All right.
Uh, Shit. Runza,
Runs. Yeah. Okay.
KFC,
Oh yeah, K-fry. Yeah.
and
Would you
boy,
would you get rid of Pizza Hut because it's all part of the Taco Bell K-fry thing?
sure, why not?
No, I don't want to influence your.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think of that as fast food because it's delivery pizza. It is fast
Yeah.
food by
Okay.
the
Yeah.
very definition, but when I think fast food, I have to actually drive there to get it.
Okay.
Um, Boy, what's a really crappy burger place? Um, uh, I don't know. I don't eat a lot of crappy
I
burgers
know.
at
I
this
know.
point. I'll go Burger King.
BK Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so what do you guys think? If you could wave a magic wand and get rid of 5 fast food restaurants, what ones would they be? That's a fun exercise. I don't know
Yes,
what
what
I
would you
yeah.
get rid of?
I actually don't know. I'm gonna say well, I never thought about it like I had to answer.
Yeah.
So I would probably go with Dunkin' Donuts, which is just Dunkin' now,
Okay.
which
Uh-huh.
sucks rocks.
It's so bad. I don't even think of it as a restaurant
Yep.
or as food.
Yep. Um, I would probably I'm gonna go with some big names here. I would
Okay.
probably go with Chipotle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not the same as it used to be.
No, you're not wrong on that account.
I would probably say um hmm, get rid of boy. Mm, Taco John's, I think could go.
Sure.
I think probably Taco Bell could probably go too.
Yeah.
So I'm getting rid of Chipotle, Taco John's, and Taco Bell.
You hate Mexican food. You hate
I like actual Mexican food.
discount
So
Mexican
yeah,
food.
yeah. Um, and I like that Runza one, but you already said that one. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I got to have a burger one in there. Oh, Wendy's, easy, boom.
Would you?
Yeah, yeah.
The only reason I didn't say Wendy's was
Mhm.
because well, I don't know. I never eat there. I eat there once a year when we drive through Fruta. We usually
Yeah.
stop for lunch, and we
Oh,
always go to the Wendy's.
now that would be
Now
like,
that would throw my group of
yeah.
friends off. It wouldn't throw me off. I'd be fine with
I
it.
think that we could
We
get
also
rid of
stopped
the
at Taco Bell.
Subway that's in
Oh shit!
Elizabeth, right by Steve's house.
I would totally get rid of Subway.
If you
That
got
was
rid of any of them in particular, that one, yeah.
yeah.
Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. For that guy who doesn't like waiting for us to start talking,
Well, this time we were
sorry.
talking.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
Last
sorry
time
that
we were just sitting here going.
sorry that we let you down. I've got some more food related questions for Chris, but maybe we'll do that later. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But yeah. Mm. It is this is as close to fall as we get here in Colorado when it gets cold and snows in the springtime. Usually we go right from summer to winter.
Mm-hmm.
So
And winter to summer.
yeah.
It was 73 yesterday.
Mhm.
It was gorgeous
Mhm.
all week. And then today, snow.
Yeah. So we have boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff that's like waiting for UPS pickup. And I don't know what's going on with our UPS pickup, but it's not coming.
I think our UPS driver probably has the week off or has a few days off or something like that.
So
because he drives by and honks the horn all
Yeah.
the time and stops once a day.
Yeah.
And nope.
So if you guys are waiting for stuff from us, it's because it's sitting in it's boxed up with a label on it.
We'll get
ready
it
to
out
go.
for sure tomorrow.
We'll take it to a place tomorrow
Mhm.
if push comes to shove.
Well, I think we have one more thing that's ready to ship, so we can actually do a pickup.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm good,
You've been
Matt.
building guitars, dude.
Yeah, building a lot of guitars this week, getting some good stuff finished up, getting some old stuff finished up.
Yeah. Yeah, actually one from
One in
2022,
particular.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's some questions coming in. Greg the Walrus says, Chris, what's the Lenny's brew you got there?
Oh, Leinenkugel
I pronounced it wrong.
Juicy Peach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I am gonna split time with
Oh.
something that's pretty not, because if I drink this one second, I'll be very, very disappointed. This one's actually really good. I like peach beers.
Jerry F says, talk about that lefty behind you. I wondered if anyone would see that one. What's the deal with that, Chris?
That is for our friend Joe Caswell.
But I mean,
it will be in a reveal tomorrow.
Tomorrow reveal on
Yeah.
that one and some other stuff too, right?
Yeah, we have several that are going to be revealed.
Yeah. So how about, can we talk about that one more tomorrow, like an in-depth thing? Jerry, will you come back for that one?
Let's just go with for now, it's a left-handed level 1 with some custom features because Joe's a friend.
It's kind of a level 2.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, really.
With some level 1 features. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dirty Knobs asks, Matt, is that a Nick Fouquet hat? It is not. I don't have a Nick Fouquet hat. Joy has a Nick Fouquet hat, but I don't. But I like this hat, and this is a Two Roads hat. I like it. I think it's cool. It's got a Joker card on it. It's got a skull, and it's the Joker. There's another one here where there's like a bullet going through the skull on the other side. I don't have it in my hat. And I keep other stuff inside it, And yeah, I like this hat, but I don't wear it. I think I like Nick Fouquet too, but I don't get to wear hats as often as Nick Fouquet recommends that everyone does. Butch Landry asks, what's the difference between the Stumac Fret Kisser and the Fret Rocker? And don't say about $50. Well, Butch, that's a great question. And there's a boatload of differences between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a boatload of similarities between the two.
Yes.
The biggest difference is that the Fret Kisser has
it's got a file on
patch
each
of diamond file, like a 1 inch.
Yeah, on each side. And the idea is that if you need to spot file a fret, you can use that tool to do it. Similarly to how you fret rock, you find the corner, the edge that spans 3 frets, and then you can file with it.
Yeah.
And it's a great repair tool. It's a pretty good build tool. I use it occasionally. If I have a fret that's slightly taller than I like them to be when I start leveling frets, if I just want to spot one, because I don't want to grind down all the other frets around it, because like it or not, that happens if you're trying to just,
if you have a big beam,
a big one. So anyway, but now, pretty cool tool.
If all things, if my plans come to fruition, Sunday is going to be a video about a Plek machine, because Chris and I actually visited a factory where they have a Plek machine this week, and so we're going to talk about Plek machines a little bit. In fact, I want to can we put a pin in the Plek machine conversation and come back to it later this evening in the next hour?
Yes.
Because I want to, because adding a Plek service costs money, and a lot of people think that our guitars are too expensive right now. Okay, and I wonder what you guys think about an additional Plek service. What's that worth to you? Was that something you even care about? So, doing a little market research tonight, Chris. Lefty O says, let's talk about Chris's shirt and why it's not on the TTG merch page. Is it not?
It's not. This is that new design that SS did.
Okay.
I got one as a tester, doing a little market research.
Yeah, doing a little market research.
Once again, the logo is flipping huge.
That's really big.
Yeah, but it's a neat shirt. So I didn't actually, when I do testers, I don't get them from Teespring. I get them from somebody else.
Oh, okay.
You can't adjust the size of
Okay.
the logo, but I won't if we put it on when I put it on the Teespring thing, I will make it slightly smaller.
Okay. Someone asked if I have an emergency 20 in my hat. I do, but I have an emergency 20 in Canada and one in
You better wear that hat when you travel.
I think I have one in the UK too. And if I go back in time, I have a counterfeit $100 bill from the Republic of Texas, like before it was a state.
There you go.
So, I keep my American money in a different location, not in my hat. Yeah, and not I have an emergency stash of American money.
Rolled?
Huh?
Tightly rolled?
No, it's I have an emergency stash of American money with a Glock and a battery that can charge everything for me. So yeah.
So not on your person.
Nope. Um, Rob's Hog. Joy was telling me that I've been pronouncing it Rob Shog, but I think it's pronounced Rob's Hog. Let me know, Rob. Asks, how effective is plecking a guitar, especially one that is a custom made, asking for a friend. Well, so Rob, actually, I was shaping Rob's neck just today. And this is a question you're going to have to ask yourself. We will not, okay. We do not let guitars out of the shop that have buzz or fret protrusions or things like that.
The whole process that they go through, and I think they end up very, very level and very, very good.
All of our guitars play beautifully.
Yes.
So let's just jump right in. So
several people have said so.
Yeah. So let's jump into this kind of, it's a great segue, Rob, into like, are our guitars really that expensive? So let's kind of build on this, Chris. Here we go. And if you guys want to chime in, please do. And if you got any questions, let me know by putting like a bunch of asterisks or like the turd emoji. That'd be funny. Can you do emojis on these? Put a bunch of them. Put like a microphone or poop emoji, and that way I'll be sure to see it. I think that'd be fun if you can do it. I don't know if you can.
And zucchini. I love vegetables.
No, not that. I want the microphone and the poop emoji. So that I'll see that, and if you can do it. So there are some people, Chris, that we're just never going to be. We're never going to be low price enough to get, and that's okay. You know, we've often said. Well, I have often said that if I didn't build these guitars, I couldn't afford one. You know what I mean? Like this level 3, that's way outside of my price range. However, the level 2 is and certainly the level 1 is absolutely something that I could afford. And the level 2 is something that I could too. Especially, I don't know if you guys can see how, because Chris's head is there's like that one right there. That one that's like super amazingly flamey maple behind it.
That one?
No.
That one?
Yeah. So we should probably move them around. But anyway, it's okay if you can't wrap your brain around spending whatever our guitars cost, because I get it. But I mean, at the same time, I would like to have really expensive stuff. You know, I don't always get to have really expensive stuff, but I would like to. I would rather have a real ribeye steak than a quarter pounder every time. Maybe not every time, but yeah. But for a lot of people, we're just going to be right out just because the cost is too high. Like if they're young people or they're not serious enough of a player or something like that. I don't know what makes you justify the cost of a boutique instrument. However, there are some people who really don't want the pumpkin spice of guitars. You know what I mean? Like, okay, anybody can get a Strat. In fact, everybody has one. It's sort of like I don't know, if everybody has something, is it all of a sudden super cool? Maybe, or maybe you're just part of a really, really, really big club. And if you like that kind of exclusivity, then okay, now we have your attention, right? So, but like, what is it what is it that makes a boutique price guitar? What makes it cost that? And what do you get for that money? Well, so for one thing, you get something that's entirely made in America. If that's important to you, if you kind of have that patriotic America uh, buying, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
then that's super cool. So Chris and I actually pay ourselves a big boy salary, not too big,
No.
but we don't make $4 a day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or 20
Or
cents
even
an hour.
$4 an hour.
Uh, no, we pay ourselves slightly more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is minimum wage in Colorado now? Like $15?
I think it's more than that. I think it's 16 and some change or
In
17 and
in
some change.
Denver,
Ike was
in
telling
Denver, it's
us.
18 something,
Is
but
it
in
18?
Colorado, I think it's
Oh,
like
is it? Okay, I don't
14.75
even
or
pay
something.
attention. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It might be 15 something.
Yeah, like Boulder, it's one thing, but yeah. So
Boulder is $38 an hour.
it's not. If you make minimum wage, I can guarantee you cannot afford to live in Boulder. Um, uh, Dan put a bunch of poop emojis and said, "Your quality control is very good and your price is where it should be." Well, Dan, we're getting to that, but thank you for including us in your
Is that Dan Andradas?
Dan Andradas. Yep, yep. Um, Rusty Shackelford says, "I don't have my Challenger level 2 yet, but I'm planning to see how well I like it to influence my purchase of a level 4. If it feels as good as the 4K EVH Wolfgang I played, then it's a definite buy." Well, I uh I guarantee you're gonna love your new guitar. Um for the Rob says, "For the price you guys are providing a guitar individually tailored to the player, not coming off an assembly line, your price is spot on." And SS says it's $20 in Southern California's minimum wage. So
Mhm.
Chris and I have to pay ourselves enough money to where it's worth it to do this. This is definitely a calling, and
Mhm.
it's a passion project, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, if you and I starve to death, then we can't do it. So, and
Yeah.
we live in Colorado's an expensive place to live.
Mhm. Luckily, we've both lived here long enough that we don't have to pay new mortgages.
Yeah.
We have old mortgages that are
Mhm,
somewhat affordable.
mhm.
Um,
Comparatively speaking, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But you know what though? I think the average price of a home in the
I
United
couldn't.
States is way more than I thought it was.
Yeah, I couldn't rent a place
Mm.
in Colorado or in Denver um, for what I pay in mortgage.
No, no, you
Not even
couldn't.
close.
No, no. You could get a storage building next
Yeah,
door.
yeah. I could. Yeah,
You could have a nice one.
get a nice
Yeah, a
storage
nice
unit.
one.
Yeah.
So we live in Colorado, and Colorado's an expensive place to live. But you know what? The United States is an expensive place to live too. Now, I don't
Hmm.
want to get into that, but
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
But and and I get to that, like, okay, well then how does Fender do it? It's a it's a different level of marketing that they do, and volume sale that they do. But
Hmm.
um uh the other thing that you get from having an actual guitar builder rather than a factory worker make your guitar is you have someone that actually gives a crap. And what I mean by that is if you have a skilled person doing, say, fretwork, um uh the idea is that when something goes wrong, they don't just shove it through. You know what I mean? That they either say, "We need to fix this now," or "We need to scrap this one and start over again." That's something else that you're paying for. I Chris and I have lots and lots of guitars that don't make it all the way to not anymore so much.
And not lots and lots.
No, but if you go back for the last decade,
several.
If you go back in the last decade, how many guitars would you think like didn't quite make the cut?
A fair number. I'm not going to say a number because
okay, but not a lot, but
well, more than some.
More than some. Would you say it's more than 10 in the last decade?
In the last decade, yeah, probably. From the start to the finish, yeah. Now I'm just thinking of things that are almost done that have gotten QC'd to the scrap heap. Yeah, and there's some of those too.
One of the guitar companies that comes up often is Kiesel, which is kind of a boutique factory anyway.
Absolutely a boutique brand.
But the guy, what's his name, Kiesel, talks about how, the lady who does frets does them all day long, every day, every week, every month, every year. So she does more frets in a year than you'll do in your entire life if you're a guitar builder.
God, I hope so.
And maybe she does, or he does, or whomever it is that's doing it. I don't know. But at some point, I don't think you need 100 million repetitions to be good at something, but I do think you need a fair number to be good. And here's the other thing: if that's all you do all day long, one, if you're not a guitar player, do you care if anybody gives a crap about your frets? Or do you just, do you do what you got to do? And there's Monday morning fret jobs, and there's Friday afternoon fret jobs, and there's, we can't afford to do that. Right. Every single thing from us has to be good. And there's, I mean, you do frets occasionally. Well, you do frets after here's what I mean. You don't press in frets. You don't trim frets. You don't.
Not a lot.
You don't cut.
I do some.
You don't do undercut fret tangs.
Yeah.
So
not in normal circumstances.
Yeah. So okay. Let's use fitting and slotting and making sure nuts are exactly perfect too. Same idea. Yeah. Okay. So Chris does I haven't done a nut in months. Okay. And Chris probably hasn't done fretwork actually he did some the other day, but
yeah, I do some. Well, and I do some in classes and stuff like that. I like to keep my skills up.
But but you and I actually we have we're tied to this place. So anything that goes wrong, it's not like, well, okay, I guess somebody doesn't get perfect frets this time. We don't have that luxury.
No.
And because we're actual craftsmen, not people who work in a factory. Nothing against people who work in a factory, but you can't pay somebody to give a crap.
No.
Right? And you can't replace a skill with a machine. Can you? Do you think it's possible for guitar factories to fix a software problem with a hardware solution? In some ways, like a CNC machine basically does that.
Yeah, I think there are times when you can do it. It's amazing. Sometimes you think machines will do more than they actually do.
Like the Plek machine, for example. It's remarkable what the Plek machine can do. But what the Plek machine can't do is say, now put a 50 thousandths Allen key or hex key, if you're that guy, and turn it 3/4 of a turn on the G string treble side, and then your setup will be perfect. You still got to do a bunch of hand stuff.
You still have to do a bunch of hand stuff, including polishing the frets, which I found very, very interesting. Yeah. It does a really good job of measuring. It does a really good job of giving you data about your guitar. It does a good job of getting you started on the right path towards something else, but it doesn't finish it.
Yeah.
I was shocked that it didn't do more than it did in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It did stuff that I wasn't aware it could do, but that was, yeah.
And like I said, gang, if everything comes to fruition, that video will be Sunday's video.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have like a review of that then next week. We could sit around and talk about that some more too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sit around and talk about.
Solaris Moon, I never suggested that you did Monday morning frets or Friday afternoon frets. Yeah. I'm just saying that insert name of something that you really, really like here. A factory can make a lemon. It's not unheard of, right? I'm not calling anybody out. So if you work at Kiesel, don't take it the wrong way. Um, Van Shank Guitar said, "That's it. I'm going out to work for Chris and Matt." Now, I don't want to spill any beans, but does anybody out there want to work for us? Who wants to do that? Is that a real thing? I don't know. We are not hiring right now. We are not in a position to hire right now. However, I'm not saying that that's going to be completely out of the question. How about that?
Sure.
Okay. All right. One day coming up. Yeah, I'm talking to you too, Rick. Rob says that he'll be our East Coast guy. I think Rob is going to help us do some marketing too. He's got a good buddy of his, or someone he's related to, has a swanky boutique guitar shop.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So
is that what it's called?
I think it's called Swanky Boutique Guitar Shop. Yeah.
Of blah blah blah.
Yada yada. So I guess what are some other costs, Chris, associated with what we do? Obviously, there's this. I just did taxes, and last year I was shocked. I knew what our rent was going to be because it's the same as it was the year before, or roughly the same, and it's a bunch. Again, we're in Colorado. Our rent is close to $3,000 a month,
which is really not very much money.
No, it's not.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. For what we got, I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, $3,000 doesn't get you a whole lot.
No,
does it?
And somebody said, "Well, why don't you move to rural Kentucky and spend $750,000 and get this thing?" It works out to be the exact same thing. It's just that now I have a piece of property that in rural Kentucky, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so like my mortgage payment plus a yeah, okay, yeah, we could relocate the shop. Anybody could do that, right? If everybody in Ohio decided they wanted to move to wherever, no one can stop them.
Here's the deal. If you move and you save a bunch on, because we're not bitching, we're not complaining that we live in Colorado and mortgage is this and rent is this and all of that. The guitars aren't going to get cheaper if you move someplace and it's $500 a year to live there.
Oh, well, because here's the other thing that I had no idea was our parts bill and our wood bill for 2023 was staggering.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a big chunk of what a guitar is. It's not just the magic that Matt and I perform.
Yeah.
It's also real live things. Yeah. And when you use good stuff, it costs dollars.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's why our guitars cost what they do. Chris and I pay ourselves a living wage for $19.99 in Colorado. Our rent is $3,000 a month right off the top. And in 2023, we had nearly $200,000 in parts, materials, wood, paint, stuff like that to make the guitars that we made. So yeah, and that's just the way it goes. If we lived in I don't know where, Indonesia, one of those things would be different. The cost for
yeah. Well, and we can't buy parts in hundreds.
No, not right now.
No, we can't buy gallons of paint.
We do buy gallons of paint.
Well, we buy some in gallons, but yeah, that's true. But I was thinking colors.
Oh, yeah. Some of that paint that's like an ounce is $95 or something.
Yeah, whatever. We can't buy. We can buy. We don't really buy anything there's a few things that we buy that you get a little bit of a discount because you buy more than 3.
Yeah.
But not very many.
But we do buy premium components.
Yeah, we buy premium components, and we have OEM pricing on stuff and wholesale pricing on stuff, and but it's still a bunch of money. Yeah,
and even the
quality stuff costs money,
that's
and
just it.
and good wood costs money, and it's amazing. Yeah, how fast all that stuff adds up.
Yeah. So anyway, so again, if you're not interested in the pumpkin spice latte of guitars, which is not, I love pumpkin spice. I think Strats are cool, but and I hate to pick on Strats. I think SGs are cool. How about that? But everyone's got one. You know, they're not hard to get. You can go to Guitar Center and just get one. And if you want something that is built by a person who loves to build guitars, then you come to us or somebody like us. We're not the only game in town.
Yeah.
Well, we might be the only game in town, but not in the world. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of people. So
yeah. Really, our stuff is in the world of $15 burgers.
Right.
It's it's not that much money.
Yeah.
And for some people, no matter what the price, it's always too much.
That's just
There's
it.
another channel that I follow. Maybe some of you watch his stuff too. He has a new model coming out that's $6.99. Somebody said, "Love the guitar, but it's out of my price range." $6.99. Now, and I know he's having it made overseas and blah blah blah, da da da, blah blah blah. $6.99 out of my price range. Never in my life could I afford $6.99
Come on.
guitar.
Yeah.
What? Okay. So, and how many guitars are you buying?
That's just it.
You know? Yeah. Go down into your or wherever all your guitars are stored, count them all up, and put a value on them. Guarantee it'll be more than $6.99.
Sean Joint says that he has worked for some real tricks before. I know I could meet your expect. Sean, are you looking for a new line, and were you looking to move to Colorado? Man, let me know, man. Let's see. How much did the underground bunker cost? You know, I'm not going to just give away information like what the underground bunker sold for, but yeah.
Yep.
Road Song says, could you team up with other builders to pool your purchases of some items and maybe gain a greater distance? Sort of like a cooperative.
The amount that you could save over a wholesale price would be very, very little.
But
and that's not ultimately that's not the point. And once again, the guitars aren't going to go down in price.
Yeah,
If we
the
make
whole
an extra
idea.
50 cents or $10.
Yeah.
Jumping through a bunch of hoops to get there.
Great point, Chris. I think that if you and I could sell every single guitar that we could make, and we could make them for $2,500 or $3,000 or $4,500 or $5,000, we would. I mean, just like if you could make more money, well, you would. You know, or I mean, if someone said, "Hey, I don't know what your job is, but if we're going to give you a $10 an hour raise, what do I have to do? Nothing." Yeah, okay. You're not going to say no.
Right. Yeah,
so if Chris and I could give ourselves a raise, well, then we would do it. But it's a little trickier
and
kind of thing.
And we're not bitching about any of this. We're just stating facts about all of this stuff. And I've the reason that I jumped at that was because I've been a part of a co-op, and it was too much work
when you had the bike shop.
Okay. There was special buy-ins and this and that, and ultimately I ended up buying too much stuff, and then had a hard time getting rid of it or using it or whatever, because it wasn't actually what I wanted.
I'm sure that like there is some other company that uses exactly the same Hipshot tuners that we use. I don't know who they are, but that it would be one thing for me to go, okay, Hipshot, I need one 1,000 sets of tuners. What kind of, you better sharpen your pencil. What kind of deal can you make me? Well, I can't. I need to find, we buy like tuners in like 50 at a time, 50 sets at a time. So I would need to get 20 other people to do that. Or I'm sorry, 19 other people to do that, to use exactly the same tuner. Maybe I don't know how that works, but yeah, I think it's tricky.
Yeah. It's really the way that we save money is sometimes shipping. You don't get, we don't buy 3 sets of tuners.
Yeah.
We buy a bunch, and the shipping is probably the same as 3 sets of tuners.
And there's a lot of, I think there's some people in the comment section who are misunderstanding what we're talking about here. We're not looking for ways to make things cheaper.
Right.
We're not looking for ways to save money. We're just explaining why stuff costs what it costs. As you pointed out numerous times, we're not complaining, just explaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't complaining, we're explaining.
We just explaining.
Yeah. So anyway, so you don't need to come up with, super creative ways we realize that stuff costs what it costs.
Mm-hmm.
We're just attempting to.
We just go steal a bunch of stuff. let's yeah.
Just
break in and
go swipe a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we're not doing
rob the wood store.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
I can't believe how cheap this stuff is when you steal it. Yeah.
John says that I'm mansplaining. Do you think I'm mansplaining? Maybe I am.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I think a lot of people don't realize until you've done something like this, worked for yourself,
It's
been beholden to what you get done is what you get paid that day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough concept.
Yeah.
And so sometimes maybe a little mansplaining is the way to go.
Maybe. Can you believe that I didn't get any hate comments from my video on Sunday where I
can't believe it.
Totally mansplained a bunch of stuff.
I can't believe it because you started out and you were salty from like word one.
Mm-hmm.
Like before even it started, I could see in your eye you were salty. I knew exactly what was coming. I was like, oh shit.
So let's talk about the Plek thing again.
Okay.
Again, if everything happens right, there'll be a Plek video on Sunday. I have every reason to believe that it'll happen. But what I'm wondering is, I think what's going to happen is, rather than Plek every single thing, I think we're going to offer that as a thing. Hey, if you want your guitar plecked, fine, we can get it plecked for you. If you don't, it's going to be, you're getting a great guitar that's going to play terrific. But if you're one of those guys who's like, I gotta know, I gotta have it be like down to the 100,000th millimeter, like a 1 bazillionth of a fraction of an inch. That's what I gotta have. Okay, no problem. And I get that, because some people are like, I have play with a really light touch. I gotta have it be as good as it can possibly
remove
be.
all doubt.
Thank you.
Make sure that if I can't play this guitar, it's all because of me.
Or I just want to have it plecked because I've never had a guitar plecked before. How do I do it? Where do I go? I don't know what it does. Yeah, I'll drop I don't know what it would cost. So I think what's going to happen is, on the website, when you order your new Texas Toast guitar, so like say for you grab that really swanky looking number right there. So when you order your new guitar, whether it's right-handed or left-handed, and this one happens to be right-handed.
It's left-handed. Wait.
It's Jimi Hendrix left-handed. So when you order your new guitar, you'll be able to go, there's going to be some new things. So like on this Challenger Level 2 Maple Top, you'll be able to choose fixed or trem, P90 or humbucker, really any pickups you want. We're going to be offering some new neck woods coming soon. But one of the drop down things is going to be, you want your guitar plecked, and then you click yes. We'll build the guitar. Actually, we'll probably build the guitar with the Plek machine in mind, and do a bunch of plecking while it's happening. Or do you think we'll build the guitar and then go, here, Plek this?
I think initially we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. All right. Look at that thing. That thing's
This one's
badass.
sold, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Ed Dupree says that your guitars are worth every penny. Craftsmanship. God bless you, Ed. Thank you so much. Brad Guitar Miller says Texas Toast, the channel. Hold on a second here now. The channel Chris is talking about also makes comments about how great this $100 guitar is that they work on for hours to make it playable. How does that make it a deal? I don't know which channel.
If your time is worth nothing, then yeah, then that's a fine way to go. When you go to sell that guitar, you will not get any of that time back.
Yeah. Ken says, I got here late. Are you buying a Plek machine? Ken, no, we are not. However, we will be offering a Plek option if you want to have your guitar plecked.
We know a guy.
And if you have some guitars that you want to send to this guy to have plecked, watch the video on Sunday. That we'll talk more about that.
Yeah. There are not that many Plek machines in the United States.
That's right.
The next closest to us is in Kansas City.
Rob says I think Sweetwater charges $400 to Plek.
Is it $400?
He says he might be off.
Yeah. Thought it was not, but maybe. It's an interesting process. I am looking forward to the video. I saw it firsthand, so yeah.
Tom says I've worked for myself and didn't care for it. It was a bitch. The uncertainty was the worst part.
Yeah. You I think you either learn to live with that, learn how to get over that, or you go insane.
Yeah. I'm still right in the middle. I don't.
Yeah. I talk Matt off the ledge all the time when it comes
at least
to
once
stuff.
a month. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not really once a month, but
it might as well be.
No.
Let's see. Rick asks, heard you guys say you need at least 20-gallon compressor for painting, but is that for some production level? What would get a body and neck done nicely? I think the good rule, Rick, is buy the biggest one you can get.
I think so too. I have a 10-gallon at home, and it will barely do what I need it to do for painting. It's amazing how fast 10 gallons goes. And I mean, you don't want to wait around while it pumps itself back up. You don't want to run out of air, and you don't want to start spraying with too little air. So yeah. And people say, well, I painted a car with 5-gallon. Well, that's great. Knock yourself out. But I mean, if you're going to buy it, buy once, cry once.
Yeah. You won't be disappointed if you get the big one.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed when we bought our first big compressor was the difference between the biggest 110 volt one and the 220 one was like 10 or 20 bucks. But you had to but you had to have 220 to just, you have to unplug the dryer and plug the air compressor in. So if that might be a way to go, Rick.
Might be a hard thing for me to do.
Well,
my dryer's in the basement.
Yeah, you just get a really long cord. So yeah, investigate some of that stuff too, Rick, and see. Yeah, I mean, unless you just want to move out here and work for Texas Toast. Hey, Dylan says, wait, we aren't supposed to be insane? No, I think Dylan and I are still both.
You can be. Yeah.
Like all three of us are still in like tax day shock. So yeah. Well, let's see. And what's the best way to do aerosol finishes, hard finish, atomized finishes, spray on finish? What's the minimum that you need? Do you think, Chris?
The minimum?
I mean, because there's going to be somebody who could go, "Oh, I can do."
I don't know, and I'm not. I'm kind of old school. Apparently, there's some on-demand HVLP systems that are supposed to be pretty good.
I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah, but I think good systems are fairly expensive. I still think you can buy a compressor and airline and a filter and some paint guns for not a lot of money. I would if I had it. So when I bought my compressor, I bought the cheapest 10-gallon one I could find, and it is basically an aquarium pump pumping up that. It's the
Really?
loudest.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
remember
heard
it's
it.
loud. Yeah.
It's the loudest thing ever. And I should have spent a little bit more. And I keep hoping that that thing will die.
Even those little pancake jobs for
Yeah.
like air nailers, those are getting up there for like an extra $100.
Well, they
You can get a
are.
big one,
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, really, even for an air nailer, they're barely passable.
Hmm.
You nail, yeah, 10 feet of stuff,
Yep.
and you got to wait for it to recharge. Um, so yeah, I would try and get a 20-gallon thing.
Hmm.
Um, not oilless. I would get one that's oil. They pump up faster,
Yep.
and yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, and we painted. My dad and I painted a car with a 5-gallon one. That sucked.
that was a lot of laughs, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Adam wants to know thoughts on oil finishes on really spectacular wood. Adam, I think that oil finishes are ideally suited for really spectacular wood. Um, if you sand wood to like 1,000 grit or 2,000 grit or a zillion grit and wipe oil all over it, it looks positively stunning. And I think oil finishes are terrific. The real problem is when you get less than spectacular. Just, I think mahogany is a cool wood, but oiled mahogany just kind of looks brown, or like alder oiled. Okay, yeah, I mean it. But yeah, if you had like an acoustic uh with really wowie zowie koa or rosewood or something, man, that's going to look like $100 million if you sand it until it's just so smooth that you could, I don't know, what am I thinking? Sand it to like as high of a grit as you possibly can, and put an oil finish on it. I think you will not be disappointed with that. Um, in fact, you could make the case. Don't say French polish. I know someone's feverishly typing right now. French polish, French polish, French polish. If I never, ever, ever do a French polish again, which I never will, I'll be fine with that. Um, but an oil finish, um, you will not be missing out. I think you could make the case that that's the ideal finish for fancy wood like that, especially on an acoustic guitar. Um, John Mandrel says, "Hi guys, that doesn't happen to be my swanky guitar you were showing up." Well, it might be, sir. Um, uh, 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 So let's see. Lots of people recommending things to do with oil finishes. What So Chris, we got about 15 minutes here. What else what are we missing out on while everyone's kicking back ideas for oil finishing and things like that? Have we beaten the why our guitars cost what they cost thing to death yet?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it let me get my words together
All
here.
right.
Um, one of my favorite aspects of all of this is people seemingly can't tell the difference between um, the cost of doing business in the USA versus Korea versus Indonesia, and they expect that the US should be able to compete price wise with um, Indonesia and even Korea,
Mhm.
and it's just not possible. And in the guitar world, it's all about labor. The wood costs about the same.
Yeah,
Parts
regardless
are
of, yeah.
parts are parts. I mean, the Squire factory buys stuff way cheaper than we could ever buy it, but it's a different level, it's a different quality. Um, but um, oh, but the parts, the price that let's just use Gibson as an example.
Hmm.
The parts that Gibson uses cost the same whether they're using them in the US or they're using them in Indonesia on Epiphones. That price is the same, the wood's the same, blah blah blah. But it's all about the workforce and what
Hmm.
the workforce earns. And in countries where you don't pay people $20 an hour,
Yeah, for a minimum.
Prices start to change really, really, really fast.
They can go way
So,
down.
yeah.
There are a handful of the big companies. Like if you buy a Gibson, it's ostensibly made in Nashville or Montana, wherever Gibsons are
Uh-huh.
made. And to get an import one, it's an Epiphone at that point. Now I don't know. There are some people that say, "Oh no, this Gibson's actually made somewhere else." Whatever.
Maybe.
Paul Reed Smith is the
Sometimes I wonder.
yeah. Paul Reed Smith has kind of a thing, but they're not exactly the same. You know what I mean? You get the Paul Reed Smith and the core or their legacy brand or whatever. It's slightly different than the one that looks kind of similar to it that you get it from the wherever factory the SEs are made. To me, I think the Fender model of like except for where it says Squire, you have a real hard time delineating where one is an American one and one
Mhm.
is. I mean, people that know, but like I don't know enough about Fenders to go. You hand me a body and I go, where was this one made? I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't think that that if you have a CNC machine in Indonesia and you plug it in and you start making strats, it says I'm in Indonesia, so I have to make a hunk of crud. I mean, yeah. So it's amazing what you can get, but if what you don't want is a factory made guitar, like I keep saying, coming to this pumpkin spice thing. If you don't want pumpkin spice and you want us to actually make you something, then you should get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it, my friend.
So, well, so a lot of times I wonder, the people that bitch and moan about the price of our guitars, I wonder what they do for a living and if they'd be okay with us subbing out their job to Indonesia or China or Korea or someplace else because, frankly, what you do just
Yeah, man.
isn't isn't all that important, isn't all that, I don't really care.
Unless you work at
I
the
can get
call
I can
center
get
of a place
someplace
where I
else.
need customer service, then I want you to be able to, yeah.
Mhm.
One, I
Yeah.
want you to answer the phone. Two, I want you to actually be, yeah, well, really, it's
Mhm.
more answering the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, yep. Yeah, if you're if you live in California and you're flipping fries, you're salting fries, and
Mhm.
you're making $20 an hour doing that,
When are they going to be replaced by robots?
pretty soon,
Yeah, I think you're
but
probably right.
yeah. You can't bitch about what a guitar costs in the US if you're flipping burgers for $20 an hour.
I don't think you can bitch about a whole lot. I mean, you can bitch about it, but there's
You
nothing you
can't.
can do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, stuff costs money. And I think one of the real problems is that if you and I made cupcakes, man, we'd be. I don't want to say we'd be shitting in tall cotton, but
Oh, I thought we'd be just giant fat guys
we would be.
eating all our
But
profits.
but if you can sell something for $5, you can sell a lot of things for $5. It's hard to sell a $2,500 guitar,
Yeah.
especially more than one time. Mike Beckloff has a bunch of them. Doug Santaniello has a bunch of them. Sir David has a bunch of them. Lots of people have a bunch of them. But man, can you imagine if we made cupcakes or beer or some? Like
Cupcakes and beer?
yeah, I mean, like if you, not everybody that I know has 5 or 6 Maseratis. It's hard enough to buy a really expensive one thing. So yeah, it's a bummer that stuff has to cost what it does. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. We live in the United States and suck it up, right? That's what stuff costs.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Let's see what's going on in the old comment section here. Adam says never settle on something you will use every day, pay for the quality and never worry about that thing unless you drop. Yeah, yeah. I think we've said so many times, buy once, cry once. Um, you're never gonna be disappointed with the good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there was a better phrase than buy once, cry once.
Um,
Because really, in the world of in the guitar world, hopefully when you buy our guitar, you're not like, ooh,
yeah, yeah.
you
You're not
know?
like whining like a
Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
turd.
ooh, man, I'm really excited about it. You know? Yeah, and sometimes, buying something good can be its own kind of buzz, you know? Before you get it, you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, man, I'm really excited to get this. This is gonna be really cool." But if you buy the cheap thing all the time, then it's like, "Okay, yeah." I mean, I've gotten stuff on Amazon, not guitars, but say cooking utensils or whatever, and it's,
Mhm.
you know, the cheapest one, and you get it and you're like, yeah, okay, cool. You know, because
It's a disposable thing,
yeah, there's
right?
nothing in it. Yeah. Oh, it's a new pair of kitchen tongs. Okay, cool. Mm.
Greg says, "Hey Matt, we spoke last week about a 5-piece maple walnut necks with rosewood boards. Did you get my reminder email?" I didn't. I didn't, Greg. Were you talking about the white limbo guitar with the 5-piece? I if you're ready for that, just send me another email, please, or you could go through the website. That sometimes that gets to me faster, believe it or not. Mostly because Joy reads it and says, "Hey, respond to this guy, or I'll give you what for." Um, if that's the guitar, that guitar is like actually. Hold on, Chris. Let me go grab it. Vamp for a little bit.
Look at this fabulous selection of guitars. Each one handcrafted here at Texas Toast by Matt and Chris. That's us.
So, Greg, if this was the one you were talking about, this thing is beautiful. And it's ready for color, right?
Mhm.
It's got sealer. It needs to be
Got
sanded
sealer.
back.
Yep.
You're painting all next week,
Yes.
dude. I just glued a bunch of stuff together, and I'm gluing a
4
bunch of more
days in a
stuff.
row.
So if this is the one you're talking about, let me know, man. And it's available for immediate painting and pretty quick shipping. So yeah. Otherwise, it'll just be somebody else will buy it. Somebody's gonna buy that one and get a really cool guitar.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're just about out of time. Yeah, so that's you, Greg. Okay, cool. Yeah, Hotmail. I don't know, man. It's uh probably a Hotmail thing. Vinny, we've got 2 guitars that are ready to ship to you. We need to talk, sir. Um about shipping and that sort of thing. Shipping to you. So yeah, let's go ahead and call it a day, Chris, unless you got let's talk quickly about what the reveal is tomorrow.
Okay.
How many guitars are we revealing?
At least 2,
Okay.
maybe 3, maybe 4.
Is there talk of doing like a multi-reveal?
Yeah, there was talk of doing that.
Like
I think we should do that.
not all at once, but like we're
Right.
doing a reveal at 3 and a reveal at 4 and a reveal at 5 or something
Or
like that?
whatever it is. Yeah, or yeah, 5,
Okay.
5:15, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what everybody's schedule is, but
Separate
yeah,
videos.
separate videos.
Okay.
Yeah, so be on the lookout
Okay. So
for,
lots of reveals
yeah,
tomorrow, we think.
multiple reveals.
One is going to be of particular interest to who? Mike Beckloff.
I didn't want to say his name. I didn't want to get him so excited that he couldn't sleep.
Yeah. What about Joe Doodalicious?
Yeah, that one might be done too.
There's some real stunners.
Uh,
So yeah.
yeah, that one should be done.
Okay. So anyway, I want to know, is Mike driving out here or are we shipping it? I think we should make him drive out here. And then we'll go over to Jim's and have a big party. Well, first of all, we'll have Mike drive out.
Uh-huh.
We'll go over to Jim's for a big party. We'll make Jim cook for it. This is going to be a good time.
It's working out really well.
It's going to work out great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Let us know what you want to do, Mike. But if you want to come out and have a party at Jim's house, I'm going to volunteer him right now. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, so oh, now we have to go to Kansas City. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Now that's not a bad idea, actually. Um, well, we're done for today, you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and turn it over to Dylan at Dylan Talks Tone. He and Leslie are gonna be hanging out with you guys for a couple hours. I think Dylan's starting another channel. I think it's like his what other stuff he's into, pens and knives and guns and
Snakes.
shit like that, snakes, yeah.
Boots.
So yeah, boots. I don't know. But yeah, let's find out what Dylan's up to, and I urge you guys to go over there and check him out. We are going to trudge through the tundra and try to get home in the blizzard that is in Colorado in April.
It's a little wet.
It's no blizzard, but
No.
yeah, but it's really a good. It's one of my favorite times of year for weather. So we will see you guys tomorrow for more reveal stuff. And until then, thanks for hanging out with us. and we'll see you tomorrow.